everyone. I'm Donna Bush with your CIG-TV News Brief on this Tuesday. This week, a representative of both the Pan American Health Organization and World Health Organization representative is in the Cayman Islands meeting with Ministry of Health on a number of different health programs. Ian Stein tells us more about the organization's role and his visit.
Regional office for WHO in the Americas. And then PAHO has some extra benefit because it's actually an older organization than WHO, so we have a separate little work that we add on top of that. The role that we have as an organization is to support our member states, governments, as they try to implement policies and programs to keep their populations healthy and put in additional pieces to make them healthier.
Mr. Stein says it's impossible to talk about public health and not talk about COVID-19. He adds that the Cayman Islands has done a tremendous job in its efforts to contain the disease.
It seemed like a good opportunity to actually reinforce the relationship, but also sort of set out the plan for how we could collaborate on a number of important public health interventions in the future, these coming years.
Meanwhile, in other health-related news, today, May 31st, is World No Tobacco Day, and the Cayman Islands joins the countries around the world in observing the day. The theme this year is Tobacco is Killing Us and Our Planet. The annual celebration informs the public on the dangers of using tobacco, the business practices of tobacco companies, and much more. World No Tobacco Day was created by member states of the World Health Organization back in 1987. Mr. Stein of PAHO talks about this as well.
This year's theme is really about the way that tobacco poisons our planet and threatens our environment. And this is something that is essential because tobacco companies have a way of what we would say greenwashing some of their marketing and promotion as they try to promote themselves as environmentally friendly. But it's actually far from the truth. And the truth is the fact that if we talk about deforestation, 600 million trees disappearing every year to create 6 trillion cigarettes that are produced annually. And then we have to talk about the next piece, because we have the production and creation of cigarettes, but we also have the litter that's created as well. Most of us are very familiar with seeing the plastic bottles or plastic bags that litter our environment, our cities and beaches, etc. However, in fact, the most common type of litter, plastic litter, is actually cigarette butts. And it's 40% of all litter that is found on beaches, as an example, is cigarette butts. And one might think that that might not be a significant little thing, but these are tiny, but they are very important because we think that those are mostly paper products, but they're not. It's actually predominantly a plastic product. And over time, they do degrade. However, the chemicals that are in them, chemicals like arsenic, which is commonly found in rat poison, or lead, we know is a toxic chemical as well, those are released over time. And researchers, marine researchers or ornithologists, when they're doing their work, they commonly find these plastic cigarette butts in the bellies of dolphins and sea turtles and birds. And so it's actually a toxic situation for our environment. So the complete part of the production, as well as through the final part of their stage, these are tiny but deadly things.
For more on World No Tobacco Day, you can go online to who.int. Well, starting next week on June 7th, the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure will have a new chief officer. Long-serving civil servant Mr. Eric Bush will move from his post as chief officer in the Ministry of Investment, Innovation and Social Development to the new post. Recognizing an area of need within the civil service of the Cayman Islands, Deputy Governor Mr. Franz Manderson announced a personnel shift within the senior leadership team, which fills the vacancy following the retirement of past Chief Officer Alan Jones, who retired in July of last year. Mr. Bush says, while the world around us changes, the civil service must continue to be dynamic and innovative to fulfill the vision of our elected leaders. I'm honored, he says, to continue to serve the people of the Cayman Islands in a new capacity as Chief Officer of the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure. We say congratulations to Mr. Eric Bush. Turning now to our forecast, which calls for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of late night showers tonight with possible thunder. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s, while winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. The two-day outlook is for an increase in showers, which are expected from Wednesday as a broad area of surface low pressure develops over the Western Caribbean region. Now, the synopsis calls for cloudiness along with passing showers, which are expected over the next 24 hours as the outflow of an eastern Pacific system moves over the Northwest Caribbean. Satellite images show mainly scattered high-level clouds in and around the Cayman Islands area that are taking place. Now, a reminder, for the latest unexpected local weather conditions, we encourage you to go online to weather.gov.ky. And that's it for today's news brief. I'm Donna Bush, as always, thanking you for joining us, wishing you a safe and wonderful evening, and inviting you back here again tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye for now.
Seek the latest, accurate information on COVID-19 only from official sources at gov.ky/coronavirus.